Jagmeet Singh isn't the resistance. In this last session of Parliament, the NDP voted with Conservatives on more bills than they did with the Liberals. At no point did the NDP defend the Liberals against Conservative attacks. In fact, the NDP was always right with Conservatives on the attack, even backing up claims that had no evidence or merit, as in most of them. And they never apologized, even after the Liberals were cleared time and time again of everything except a few minor Harper-created violations, things that had already been corrected and which carried no penalties, no fines, or even censure because they were nothing. The NDP is not the resistance. Their enemy is the same enemy as Erin O'Toole's Conservatives, Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party of Canada. That's why Singh has already admitted his party would work with a Conservative government. Well, Justin and the Liberals have firmly said every time they have nothing in common with the Conservatives and would never support an Erin O'Toole-led government. The only thing holding back the rise of extreme right-wing politics in Canada are Liberals, and they're the only party that ever has. That can't be understated. In the 2019 election, the Conservatives actually got 220,000 more votes than the Liberals did nationwide. The only reason Andrew Scheer wasn't Prime Minister during COVID is because voters have been strategically supporting the Liberals to stop Conservatives, strategically voting to stop the rise of Republican-style politics in Canada, strategically voting to stop the rise of Trump-style politics in Canada. So if your reason for not voting Liberal this election is because Justin is a trust fund baby, or because he wore blackface as a drama teacher more than 20 years ago before he entered politics in the last millennium, or because he's smug and condescending, or you don't like his attitude, or because you believe repeatedly disputed corruption claims about SNC, the We Charity, and other alleged fabrications of favoritism, all of which are conservative media inventions, and none of which led to charges of any kind. And it's not like they don't charge these things. Conservative Del Mastro served a month in jail for election fraud, something Pierre Poilievre avoided only through a settlement agreement with Elections Canada. Or because you've bought into conservative lies and rhetoric about cancel culture, fake feminism, pandering to Islam, or even that investment debt during a crisis, while interest rates remain their lowest in history is a bad thing, then you've been conned, and you're about to cut your nose off to spite yourself. You're ignoring the forest of progress because of a few trees you don't like. You're falling for the collusion between the Conservative Party and the NDP, pushing the idea that the only enemy is Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party. And I tell you this because I'm in the resistance, not the Liberal Party. I've never been a member of that, but I stand against the creep of reform republicanism in Canadian politics. And I vote strategically because the party that will do the most damage to Canada isn't the Liberal Party. It's the one using 3 out of 14 words from the White Pride mission statement in their logo. It's the one already planning $31 billion in cuts to healthcare spending. It's the one waffling on their answers about whether military-grade assault rifles should be legal. It's the one fronted by a seemingly benign dad figure who Canadian media isn't vetting. A Bay Street elite, a big pharma lawyer that will keep you from universal healthcare, universal pharmacare, affordable daycare, and tax relief unless you earn at least $250,000 a year. One who will take Canada backwards on student funding and pandemic support at a moment when many Canadians are still too vulnerable to lose those. A party that caused most of the problems we're dealing with now. Because whenever they were in power, they've cut mental health programs, veterans affairs, infrastructure spending. They sold off our vaccine industry, putting us in the jeopardy we're in now. And repeatedly, they've lied to you about their fiscal policy while gerrymandering our elections. Jagmeet isn't the resistance, Justin is. And if you don't support Justin now, then you'll have no right to be surprised when the Republican North Party forms the next government. Unless that's what you want, then congrats! You've split the left again while going up the extreme right to do it. On this day in 1762, the Sultanate of Sulu ceded BALAMBANGAN Island to the British East India Company. Oh my. It's also Video Games Day, Hug Your Hound Day, Chocolate Milkshake Day, and Grandparents' Day. And that's the Duza Bear Digest. See you tomorrow.